So this is my first program since becoming director, so thank you for coming. My name is Shauna Clark. I became a member of the Freelance just about a year ago. Yay, it's going great. But so I want to introduce our speaker today, and I've known Burton for, a dozen years now. I think we've known each other. But let me tell you a little bit about Burton, and I'm just reading this off his LinkedIn page, so they allow me to read. He's an entrepreneur, an on-air tech expert, keynote in cybersecurity, social media, and technology speaker. These are his words. I love technology. I've read all the manuals, and I'm serious about making technology safe and easy to use for everyone. And if you haven't heard Burton speak before, you're in for a treat. Let's give him a hand.
Yeah, and I'm kind of lengthy, so I have to use this timer. I love running my mouth, so yeah, I've got to set this up. Guess I'll back it up on this glass of water. But again, my name's Burton Kelso. I'm known as the technology expert. I'm the chief technology expert and owner of Integral, which is a computer repair and tech support company. Now I'm looking for my clicker. So I'm celebrating 30 years of being in business as a tech expert, and you're probably asking what the hell is a computer guy doing at a freelance event. But obviously educating you guys and gals about ChatGPT and AI. So other things about me, I'm on all of the local stations. I was just on The List, which is shown nationally a couple of days ago. And then I think the most important thing that's on my mind, so if I say TEDx during my presentation, you'll understand that I'm presenting at a TEDx next Star Wars Day, so May 4th. So yeah, May the 4th be with me when I do my TEDx. Hopefully I don't suck it. So anyway, let's talk about ChatGPT and AI. One of the things that I think most businesses fail at when it comes to newer technology is just the fear of technology. You wouldn't believe how many people I run into in my industry when going on site, and people talk about how technology stupid they are. And it's like they use it as a brand of, like a brand of honor, saying, hey, I'm so stupid in technology. You know, it's like, well, that's not something you really want to brag about. And to be honest with you, most of you aren't technology stupid, because even though you may not know how to take apart a smartphone, you definitely know how to send out email. You know how to post on social media. Some of you even know how to cut, copy, and paste when it comes to documents and other things in Word or Google Docs. So you're not technology stupid, but I think in our society, we have a fear of technology and how we can ruin our businesses with it, and basically how we can look stupid with it. But you have to understand, when it comes to technology, you aren't born with the knowledge, and you always have to make sure that you are taking steps to understand technology. And if you take anything away from this session today, I want you to remember these words. A freelancer who doesn't embrace technology will eventually be replaced by technology. I see some nodding heads, but you ain't hearing me. You don't hear me. But you've got to understand that technology is not going anywhere in all forms. So it doesn't matter if there's a new social media platform, and I think the newest one out there would be TikTok. And many of you are thinking, well, maybe I don't need to embrace TikTok, and TikTok may be going away, but then again, you don't know that. And it's not that you have to necessarily set up a TikTok account, but as freelancers, you have to understand how that process works. Same thing with LinkedIn. LinkedIn is starting to become the more prominent social media platform out there. Instead of saying, well, I don't know anything about LinkedIn, it's your job to figure out how LinkedIn works, and especially how it can benefit your business. Now, back in the 80s, and I know I don't look that old, but I kind of am, there was the whole idea of robots were going to come into the auto industry and start to replace people. And we see where that has happened. Robots have come in, but they haven't necessarily replaced people. And actually, it's created more jobs for people because, when Robbie Robot breaks down, who's going to fix it? It's got to be somebody. So I want you to get that. Did someone say me? Oh, okay. Oh, not me. Yeah, you're not going to fix it. But anyway, what needs to happen with you when it comes to technology is that you have to love it and embrace it and not be scared of it. So one of the things that I like doing during my presentations is playing a fun game called Myth or Fact. So what I'm going to do is throw an image on the screen, and then you just get to say if it's a myth or a fact. And it kind of breaks up the monotony of the presentation. So myth or fact, HAL 9000 was the malevolent, I think that's right. Well, let's just say the evil robot that helped destroy the crew of the Nostromo. Is that a myth or a fact? I'm sorry, what? Oh, of course, yeah. Anyone care to just say it's a myth or fact? No wrong answer.
Yes, thank you. Fact.
Okay, there you go. Actually, it's a myth. HAL was the artificial intelligence in the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey. Now, HAL did kill some people, but it wasn't like the crew of the Nostromo. I forget the name of the ship in 2001: A Space Odyssey. But there you go. But HAL, and the reason I threw this trivia up here is because HAL is one of the first examples of an evil AI. And it kind of preys on our fears as far as artificial intelligence is concerned, especially when we're talking about programs like ChatGPT, Bard by Google, and of course ChatGPT 4, which is built into Microsoft Edge. I had to think about that for a second. So it's not here to replace you. When we talk about the terms of AI, you can't even use the word artificial intelligence when we talk about programs like ChatGPT and others that are similar to it. Because these programs aren't designed to have human emotions and have to deal with problems. The current form of AI is more or less a program that's designed to keep looking for answers to the specific questions that you pose to it. So as far as the fear factor of AI, you can't say, well, heck, it's going to replace me, because AI cannot add, well, in its current form, cannot add that human element. And I know there's the images of the Boston Dynamics robots that are jumping around, dancing, maneuvering through obstacles. And that doesn't necessarily mean that AI has become aware. It just means that it's a series of programs or complicated tasks that the robot or AI is able to do. So whenever new technology comes out, you definitely do not want to fear it, because it's not designed to replace you. In fact, AI in its current form is designed to bring us closer together. When you look at the tools that are available for ChatGPT and other forms of AI, it's designed to help you work more efficiently so that you can become more connected with the real world. In our digital society, we are so consumed by our smartphones, by our tablets, and other electronic devices that we miss out. How many times have you been to family dinner and you see people sitting around the table looking at their smart devices? I see one hand there, but I know all of you do it because I'm guilty as well. Because sometimes, life at the mother-in-law's is very boring and you got to do something. But you look at other instances as far as our work-life balance. Many of us are stressed out because we're constantly on our digital devices and we don't have a good work balance because we're trying to come up with content. We're trying to figure out how that website is going to have better SEO. We're trying to figure out what type of marketing material that we can put out there in order to draw more customers to us. We're also looking at AI in a graphic sense. How can I create a better logo for my business? How can I take that great photo that I took in Cancun and turn it into a professional headshot? I mean, think about it. I mean, if you are good at graphics, maybe you can spend some time and make that happen. But let's say you're just a cheapskate and you don't want to deal with that stuff, then you're going through many tools trying to figure out how to accomplish a simple task. But you have to look at AI in a sense that it's trying to get us back to where we have a more stable work-life balance and we're not suffering with things like quiet quitting or other stress-related tools or options, or I should say thoughts. Maybe that's the best way, that we have to deal with in our work-life balance. But AI has been around all this time, and you probably didn't even know it. But it's in more complex form with ChatGPT and other tools by OpenAI and companies. So you've used the Hey Google, Hey Siri. That's artificial intelligence, because what it's doing is analyzing your words, and it's trying to come up with an answer. Same thing with your smart home devices. Well, first, let's go back to our devices as far as our smartphones. I want to know the division in the room. How many of you are like Apple users, smartphone? Oh my gosh, the whole room. Should we beat up on these Android users in here? Nothing wrong with either one. That's okay. But same thing with your smart home devices. Alexa device users? How about Google Home? Because I've got to throw that out there. It's not as popular. But if you're familiar with those tools in your home, you understand that when you talk to those devices, they give you incomplete answers. Like if you say, hey Alexa, hey Google, hey Siri, you get one answer and then you have to do another query. Not with the current forms of AI. You can ask specific things and it'll give you complete answers. And smart home devices are great because not only do they respond to questions or queries that we put to it, but we also can use our smart home devices to control our lighting, garage door, front door, you name it. Smart home devices are great, but they could go to a step more. Same thing when you deal with chatbots on websites that you visit. The whole idea is to give you a better customer experience, somewhat. I think most companies are just trying to get rid of humans completely as far as call centers are concerned. But that is not going to happen because you always need that human element when you're dealing with, especially with tech calls. And then there's just certain nuances that occur with tech devices that only a human would be able to translate that problem as opposed to a chatbot that is set up on a specific website. Now, out of curiosity, how many of you have your own website? And how many of you incorporate chatbots within that website? No one? I do. I mean, it don't really interact with it. It just says, hey, can we help you? And then that's it. People will put their query and then it's a done deal. But hopefully AI is going to put that to the next test. Now, I love putting the picture of Terminator up there. Just for the simple fact that every time that some form of AI emerges, everyone gets that idea of Skynet. And I hope everyone in this room has an understanding of what happened on, I think it was in 1997 in the Terminator movies where Skynet became aware and started decimating humans off the planet. We're not at that stage yet. Maybe it's 2079 when it actually happens, but who's to say that it is? But you've got to get that fear out of your head and think, well, ChatGPT and other AI tools are definitely going to help me out, and we're not going to be eliminated by Arnold and who's the other guy that played the Terminator 1000? Patrick. No, it wasn't Patrick Swayze. Who said that? Patrick Swayze was not in the Terminator movie. Anyway, so let's talk about getting familiar with AI and other technology. So technology is always evolving and always growing. Just like this picture represents, when you think one form of AI or technology has gone away, another thing is going to spring forth. Let's talk about the whole beta versus VHS thing as far as video cassettes are concerned. You've seen an evolution there from you're putting the device into your player, and now we just go to our streaming service on our smart TV. And technology does that, and it is constantly evolving. So you have to stay on top of what is the latest, greatest thing. And you probably didn't know this, but these are all of the best AI tools out there. So let's go through the list. So yeah, you probably should take photos because this is going to come in handy. I was hoping everyone would just pull their phone out, but no. And there's 2 pages worth, so there we go. So the first one is ChatGPT, which basically solves any problem. And you can go to chat.openai.com. Now, I'm assuming everyone in this room has used some form of ChatGPT, correct? Yes, no?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, be honest. If you haven't even touched it, just say, hey, Burton, I haven't even looked at this stuff, and it's like over my head. All right. So if you go to OpenAI, chat.openai.com, you can set up a free ChatGPT account. Now, there's a paid account and there's a free account, but most of you could get by with the free account. So once you sign up with Google or Facebook or whatever they have you do, you can go to ChatGPT and actually do a query where you put in whatever you want. So one of my favorite subjects is the movie Alien, because they were put into a no-win scenario, and I want to find out, was there a way for them to escape the alien in the movie Alien? And you can have conversations with ChatGPT. You know, was Ash actually could they have gotten past Ash? Could they have survived the alien? And you can just put in your query, how could the crew of the Nostromo survive the alien in the movie Alien? And it will come back with its own assessment of what it thinks will happen. Now, like a lot of forms of technology, ChatGPT does have its limitations. It doesn't know anything beyond the year 2021. Anything before that, it knows just about everything to it. Other things you can do with ChatGPT, let's say you're traveling. You want to find out where the top hotspots are in South Dakota, Sioux City, South Dakota, or Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where I was last week. You can put it in and it'll bring up all sorts of information about Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Same thing for your business. You can put in different queries of how I'm a freelancer. How can I create marketing content that is going to attract more customers to me? Let's say your website sucks and you're designing your website. How can I design better or write contacts for a website to have great SEO so that my website will jump to the top of Google? Anything that you put in, it'll do it. And we'll talk about ChatGPT prompts here in a minute. Let's go on to DALL-E. DALL-E and ChatGPT are both designed by a company called OpenAI. DALL-E's been around since 2022. ChatGPT just came out in November of 2022. Now, more people are on ChatGPT than they are DALL-E. But what DALL-E does is it allows you to verbally put in text to design a photograph for you. Now, you wouldn't go to DALL-E and say, hey, I want to draw a picture of Superman flying over Metropolis, trying to save the city from Lex Luthor. You would put in, hey, DALL-E, can you draw me a photo of a guy who's wearing blue tights with a red S on his chest and a red cape, and he's flying over a large metropolitan area? After a few seconds, DALL-E will come back and give you a photo of Superman or something close to Superman. Now, I did that with Supergirl, and it came out with different variations of it. But the more information that you put into Chat and to DALL-E, the more detailed your responses are going to be. Now, Synthesis, I think I said that right. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I suck at word pronunciation. But yeah, it generates avatars. So have you ever seen those talking bots that are online? If you go to that website, it will take a photograph of you and turn it into a talking bot. Now, how would that be handy in your business? I don't know, but it would be a cute thing to share on social media. And it's just there because the technology is starting to develop. Now,
Zoom meetings and that, have that on there instead of
instead of you just talking, just have it like prompt and then show up. I guess you could do that. So the next one is Murph, which is pretty scary. And we'll talk about the whole why it's scary in a minute. But with Murph, if you put in your text, and it will actually take that text that you've put in and play it back in your own voice. Now, I guess you could do that on like a Zoom meeting with your camera off, but Murph allows you to not necessarily go through the process of recording, because we know what a pain in the butt it is to try to record audio for specific tasks. If you go to Murph, you can just type in what you want to say, and I think most of us are better typers than we are talkers, and it will actually bring out speech that is in your voice. Now, the one that amazes me is the do not pay, which is the AI attorney.
Hey, Burton, how does it know your voice? I mean, you have to record it into it first? Or?
Here's the scary thing about your voice on voice AI. All it takes is about 3 to 8 seconds of audio from you to it to capture. And then, yes, when you do type, it'll actually play back your voice. So that's how it gets it. It's an audio capture. So it can be taken from a previous video that you've done. You can upload the audio from that. You can speak into the microphone and just read a sentence. But it doesn't take much of your input, of your voice input, in order to translate that data, where you can just type it out and it'll start talking to your voice. Now, Do Not Pay, which is AI Lawyer, believe it or not, if you can, I don't know if it can be used in court, but if you wanted to know something about law, rather than have to pay an attorney's hourly fee, you can go to Do Not Pay and it'll give you the advice of an AI attorney. Use at your own discretion. So Jasper AI is just like ChatGPT, and you might want to get your phones out because these are more tools that you can use. So Jasper AI writes anything just like ChatGPT. Now, Chatbot Live, meaning multi-purpose chatbot, I guess you could just use it for just any purpose out there. And one of the things that I want to say about these tools, because I know currently with AI, everyone has the misconception that everything's free. A lot of these tools aren't free, and which is why it's important for you to investigate these tools and to find out if it will actually work in your business. Because some of them start out with a free trial. Maybe you can record one video, but then after that, some of these monthly subscription fees are pretty costly. Let's breeze through these. Repurpose.io is a website where you can cross-post content on social media, meaning that there's an interface that you can go to and actually put what content you want to share on social media, and then the AI will automatically adjust how it should go across on the different social media platforms. And I'm a huge fan of cross-posting, but cross-post will modify its content for LinkedIn, for TikTok, for Facebook, Instagram, you name it, it will actually do it. And it's a handy tool for those of you that are trying to maintain multiple social media accounts. For me, it's easy. You just copy and paste on all of them and make sure your text is short. But Repurpose will actually go through and analyze it, how your text and how your photos should be for any specific social media platform. Yes?
I just wanted to double check. The actual URL is a U instead of an O.
Repurpose, yeah.
Okay.
It is repurpose, not reporpose.
Okay.
Yeah. I needed AI, obviously, on that slide right there, right? Firefiles is note-taking, AI note-taking. Then there's Ginny AI, which will actually write essays for you. And then there's Tome.app, which gives you an AI presentation. So you actually have AI that will do your PowerPoints and your Canva presentations and Keynote. I can't believe I remember that, even though I'm a Windows and a Mac user. But yes, it will actually do your presentations for you. And I don't know how I feel about that. But finally, there's Timely, which allows the AI engine to track your time when you're dealing with customers. So as you can see, there are a lot of AI tools out there. It's just not ChatGPT being the only tool that you can use in order to help enhance your business, and that you need to be aware about. Because people may ask about if there's AI for specific things, and as freelancers, it's a good idea to at least have some general knowledge about all of the best tools that are out there so that you can position yourself as like an industry expert. Now, one of the best things about, yes.
Yeah, Burton, so that one for tracking time, I mean, how does AI improve time tracking?
I haven't used it. I just found it out as a tool. I just know it exists. I haven't used it. Yeah, so about me, as far as AI is concerned, I'll use a bit of the applications, but at the same time, I'm not going to dwell deeply into it because, as for a lot of you, time is money. So how much time are you going to invest in these AI tools? It's a good thing to know about it, but again, you want to make sure that you concentrate on the tools that are going to work best for you. So there you have it. So now these are supposed to represent AI prompts that you can use to get the most out of the AI tools. So for example, if you went to ChatGPT and said, hey, I need a recipe for chocolate chip cookies, and it'll throw you up a recipe for chocolate chip cookies. But let's say that you have issues with gluten. You could throw the word gluten in there and it would generate a recipe for gluten-free chocolate chip cookies. Let's say you wanted to add a little alcohol into that mix and say, hey, I wouldn't mind some chocolate chip cookies with a dash of rum. You got a recipe for that? So one of the things that you should embrace when it comes to your AI are your prompts. And prompts are specific queries that you would put into any AI scenario. Now, if you were to go to the Ask a Lawyer AI, you want to give it as many details as you can, but there's going to be a limit to that. But with tools like DALL-E and with ChatGPT, the more information that you feed into these AI devices, the better off your query, the better off your responses are going to be. And so in order to help you get the best response out of ChatGPT, Bard by Google, or Bing by Microsoft, you want to visit some of these websites out there just to make sure that you have a list of prompts when you're trying to solve a specific problem. Now, this isn't going to be the end-all to end-all when it comes to your AI tools. You are actually, if you're going to start using the AI, is to make sure that you find out what prompts are going to work for your business. And that's key, because if you just throw general prompts in there, it's just not going to give you the content that you want. So, like as an IT guy, for example, if I wanted to beef up my website, I would say, hey, chat, give me content for a computer repair and IT managed services company that is going to have high SEO and attract small businesses that have 25 employees or less. That's an actual prompt, people. So I need you to understand that when you're using AI tools, that the more information that you feed it, the better off it's going to be. But before you try to use your brain and figure that information out, it's best to go to some of these websites that already have prompts that will help you get the information that you need. And most of these sites you can just Google, like Prompt Hero or prompts.chat, and find these websites and see if they have the prompts that you want to use when it comes to using AI to your advantage. So another myth or fact, and I think I enjoy I think I enjoy them more than the audience does, so you guys just have to suffer. So in the movie Megan, and hopefully you've seen it because it deals with AI, Megan was created for the creator's niece because both of her parents died in an auto accident. Is that a myth or a fact?
Fact.
So everyone who said fact saw Megan, I'm assuming, correct? That is absolutely right. And that's one of the fears that we have with AI, is that it's actually going to replace relatives. In fact, Megan in the movie, well, I shouldn't ruin it for you. Yeah, see the movie. See the movie. It's a pretty interesting concept that they come out with. Now, one of the things you have to worry about with AI is the cybercrime aspect of artificial intelligence. Because not only does ChatGPT and other AI tools allow you to get more from your business, it also allows cyber criminals to figure out ways to trick you and figure out what things are going to get you to click on that link when it comes to that bogus website, or whatever spammy message comes in your email inbox or in your chat messages. Now, someone made the comment the other day about cyber criminals and said, I wish people would find better things to do when it comes to having these scam messages that come out. Well, one of your things as far as a business owner is to be able to recognize these threats and make sure that you can protect others from them. But you have to remember, cyber criminals aren't just a bunch of guys sitting in a room thinking of ways to trick people. Cyber crime is probably, I think, as far as the amount of money it takes in, is like the third or fourth largest country in the world. I mean, as far as the amount of money that cyber crime makes. So to throw a number out there, I think it's 80 billion annually is made off cyber crime. 80 billion. So especially in this AI related world, you don't want to think that it's just a bunch of trickster kids that want to make money off you. I mean, there's serious money that's to be made off of cybercrime, and that's why criminals are turning to AI in order to craft images, in order to craft speech that is going to trick you. Now, one of the tools that I did not mention that you probably should write down to help combat the fact that maybe your competitors are plagiarizing from ChatGPT, because a lot of the content that you generate from AI, you better not use. You better not use, because overall, most AI tools are just skimmers. All you do is you put in information that you want to get back, and the AI doesn't like go, let me think of an answer to this. All it does is it searches the internet for those answers and it presents it back to you. So I'm not pointing out anybody in this room, and I hope it isn't happening, but if you've been using Chat or Bard or Microsoft Bing to generate content that you've been putting on your website, you better think again and remove that content, because you could be in line for a lawsuit. There are tools out there that can actually scan websites to find out if it's using legitimate human text as opposed to AI generated text. Now, one of the tools that you want to use to maybe sync one of your competitors, or just to find out if content for a customer is AI generated, is a tool called GPT. And what you can do with GPT is go to any text website and find out if it's being generated by AI or if an actual person wrote it. Because it can tell your writing patterns and find out how AI works. And AI, being machine-based, thinks and works like a machine, unlike humans who sometimes think and act like machines, but actually are generating organic content. Yes, Julie?
Is that just for websites, or could I use that on my students' papers?
It would have to be something that's electronically scanned, and a lot of schools are using GPT to check out papers. So yes, it's a tool that you can definitely use, but it has to be in electronic format, because it's a website that you go to and then you put it in there. So I guess Julie's going to be scanning papers but it's something that's a real threat. But in the real world, in the business world, you can use GPT to actually scan emails that come in. Let's just say you didn't have the wherewithal to look and see who the email came from. You can actually look at the email, and criminals are getting trickier. So one of the ways that you can use it is with social media. So we all have seen the situation in social media where someone has a hacked account, and they're like, oh my gosh, don't accept any friend requests from me or any messages because my account has been hacked. And that may be true. In most instances, the account is duplicated, not hacked. Now, if someone can't get into their social media account, then it means the account itself was hacked. But when you get those spam messages in text or an email, then you can use a tool like GPT to scan it just to verify that, Susie, whoever, didn't send you that email message. So keep that in mind. Other attacks that you're going to start to see too are ransomware attacks, where you got messages saying that there's a problem with your account, and most of these messages will have less grammar mistakes, because one of the AI tools that I failed to mention at the beginning of this presentation is Grammarly, which obviously I did not use on my slide deck because we had porpoise instead of purpose. And I think another tool with AI, if you're a Windows user, you have the ability to use the spell check within Word, and I think Excel, and I think even PowerPoint too. But AI helps eliminate those misspellings, and it will make it easier for criminals to trick you with incoming messages. So you really have to be aware of all the cyber threats that are out there. And just out of curiosity, how many of you use Grammarly? Everyone except Kelly. Are you just that good at spelling? I suck at it. I suck at it. I mean, I applaud you. I applaud you if you're good at it, but yeah, I need it, obviously, yeah. I need it.
So Bert, will more of your spam filters start plugging into that technology? Because I know my spam filter is so aggressive right now. I go into those that are locked and I'm like, really? This is a client contact.
Right. So the question is would my spam filter be more focused on that contact or content? And the answer is yes and no. I will say yes because it's designed to pick up better spam, but no, because AI really hasn't been incorporated into spam filters because it's still inaccurate. AI is still inaccurate. And that's one of the things that you should take away from this presentation is because, yes, it can help you start the foundation to creating whatever content that you want. But you better not use it for verbatim because it doesn't know what it's talking about. And one of the things that I did to try to test to see how accurate AI was is I put myself into ChatGPT. I said, tell me about Burton Kelso. And it started out good, but the more questions I asked, the more off the rails it went. It said all sorts of stuff that I have never done in my life.
That's not generating information though. If it's primarily a search and aggregate.
It's just yanking it off the web, like seeing maybe Tech Expert or Burton or Technology and just pulling together what it thinks it is. Because if you go to ChatGPT and some of the other text AI tools, you've got the like or dislike button to kind of verify that the information that was provided was accurate.
So it's making stuff up in some ways to see if it happens to fly.
That's it. It's making stuff up. Or getting information.
Experts do X.
Right, exactly.
I've done X.
Right, exactly.
Correct for the next time.
I'm sorry, what?
When you start adding to it or asking other questions, then does it correct it?
Well, hopefully, because it's going to take the knowledge on its own. You have people that are on the back end looking at your queries and saying, hey, is this information right or wrong? And then they can do the research and then put it into chat to maybe redefine the search when it looks for a particular person or a particular subject. And then I forget what I was going to say about before. It is.
Yeah, you can rate it too. You get the response and you say, no, this is bad.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and that's how part of the learning process. And I think the challenge is with technology, we jump on it so quickly that, we don't think about if it's accurate or not. It's almost like when you get the latest version of whatever operating system comes out, like Mac OS or Windows OS or an OS for your smartphone. It's not quite there yet. It's basically being tested out in the field. And of course, whenever people have issues, then they can call Microsoft or Samsung or Apple, and then they can fix the problems. And that's the reason why when you're embracing these AI tools, you need to really analyze what you're looking at and make sure that, number one, it's a good fit for your business. And number two, that the information that you're getting is accurate. So it's kind of like that, should I use AI or shouldn't I use AI? Because what if you're dealing out false information based on stuff that you're getting from AI? You still may have to do that Google search to verify that the information that you're getting is accurate. So, but one of the things that you want to do in order to avoid being obsolete from AI is you have to position yourself as an industry expert in whatever business that you're in. So as long as you provide or make yourself a subject matter expert, it will definitely help you stand out from all of these people that think that you are replaceable by AI. Because one of the things that you can add to your resume is the fact that you are a human and you can generate responses and content that is going to appeal to people. Because in today's day and age, we may be in a digital world, but we still dealing with people. People do business with people. I mean, that's what it boils down to. Unless you're a Target or a Walmart, then you're at a different level. But at the small business level, people are doing business with people. So you have to position yourself that, hey, I'm better than AI. I'm offering accuracy. I'm offering relatability. I'm here whenever you need someone. So if AI goofs up, I can always come back and help you out. So there's different ways that you can position yourself as an expert. Number one, I would highly recommend that you get on LinkedIn and start posting content. Because the thing that I love doing presentations is this. So how many of you are on LinkedIn? How many of you posted oh, hands went down already. How many of you posted content today on LinkedIn? See? Are you being honest? Can I look at my phone and look, Julie? Yeah. Okay. That's the key. And as you can see, and I'll use Julie as an example, and I can use myself as an example. Julie is almost the epitome of being a brand authority. She rocks her freelancer brand. If you want to stay competitive in today's society, you are going to have to elevate yourself. What is going to make you stand out from AI? Blog posts, photos, connections of people is what it's going to take to help you stand out. Now, I would highly recommend you get active on all forms of social media. But one of the things that makes LinkedIn stand out is that out of the 800, maybe 900 million people that post on or that are on LinkedIn, only 1% of those people post content. 1%. So if you're posting content even 3 times a week, that is making you stand out from your competition and helping you realize your brand. And things that you can become a subject matter expert on is AI and all the AI tools out there. You don't necessarily have to know every in and out about AI, but at the same time, you can instruct people on the proper tools that they can use in order to enhance their business. Because when they get stuck, are they going to go to Google or ChatGPT to get answers? No, they're going to come to you as a person because you're the subject matter expert. So it's important that you take steps to stand out because, who knows if ChatGPT or any forms of AI are going to be around in its current form. Another form of technology is going to come out, and you have to be ready to make sure that your business is going to stand. Am I talking too long? No, I'm doing pretty good. All right. So as a business, you always have to keep learning and always have to keep growing in order to ensure that you are in the marketplace. So knowledge is power. And knowledge is definitely going to help you grow as a business to make sure that you can always stay competitive. So, I think we did a show of hands of how many have at least a ChatGPT account. Julie kept her hand down. It's worth it if you don't have an account to set up an account today with either, and I don't say that you necessarily have to go through the list of tools that I've listed as far as websites you can go to, but you definitely want to make sure that you have basic knowledge and that you've at least jumped into the waters of ChatGPT and understand how it works and how that you need to use different prompts to get the content that you want. Now, in doing so, you don't want to take away too much from your business. So just dabble here and there until you get a good working knowledge of how ChatGPT works. Yes, Julie?
Do they still have a free version?
Yes. So the question was, do they have a free version? And the answer is yes. They probably will have a free version probably until the end of the year. But if they change it, then I think it's $20 a month for the paid version of ChatGPT. Now, one of the things that I think I can do, because I connected to the Wi-Fi here, is, and I'm not going to do Dolly because it takes too long. But what I will do is go to ChatGPT and at least give you an idea of how it works. And I should have had this up already. But sometimes it'll remember who I am. Sometimes it won't. Okay, let me bring this screen over. There we go. Bird went the wrong way. So, everyone familiar with this screen? Yes, no, I've never seen it before. This is the intro screen to ChatGPT. So, for example, on the far, I do have a laser pointer somewhere. But anyway, on the far left, you have examples of things that you can ask ChatGPT. In the middle are the capacities or capabilities of what it can do. And then, of course, it tells you limitations of what you can do. So on the far left are my queries. And what did I tell you one of my favorite topics to do to ChatGPT? And I had to correct it because it tried to tell me that Bishop and Newt were in the movie Alien. But there's my whole dialogue, just because I'm bored. One of the fun things you can do with ChatGPT is to play tic-tac-toe. Other things that I've done is attractions for Sioux Falls. And I even changed the subject. Like, Cole Younger was a gangster back in the Western days who rode with Jesse James. So I wanted to know where he was buried, and he's buried in Lee Summit, Missouri. Downtown. Isn't it downtown Lee Summit?
Yeah, it's a historic cemetery, the whole Yellow Coat gang down there.
There you go. But another thing I can ask is, let's do something. Julie, I'm picking on you today. Sorry, C-O-R-T-T-E-S, right?
Yes.
So that was close.
You got it.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm curious.
Probably gonna say, here we go.
Oh, rude.
Sorry.
A lot of info.
My details.
Sorry.
Have you done jokes with it? Because it's pretty horrible at it.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's better than bad stuff, right? Basically, because they don't have anything. They can't say anything about
There you go. What is the business? So I mean, there's all sorts of things that you can do.
It's full of damages.
I'm actually pretty good at it.
But then, but I guess we can go to. Let's see here. I got to go to Uncle Google, and then let's type in Dolly. Well, not two, because there's an actual song. So here's Dolly 2, which is also done by OpenAI, who created ChatGPT. And then I can go to Dolly, and then we can bring up stuff. So you can upload an image and have it, or you can tell it to surprise me, or you can type in a detailed instruction like, help me with impressionist.
IST.
Thank you. Oops.
No, just a second.
So it takes a few seconds, and then there's some of the things that I did already in Dolly, because it'll save your queries. So yeah, I mean, as you can see, it's kind of, it ain't accurate because, I mean, we know, who's this guy, for example? That's nobody. And then you've got Supergirl. She wasn't part of the Justice League. And then for some reason you got Batman. He's not Batman. He's like L-Man or something like that. And then there's Batman in a red outfit and he's got lipstick on. So this kind of gives you the idea of what you can do with some of the AI tools. You can play around with it, but definitely as far as the accuracy is concerned, it's not always there. So again, buyer beware when it comes to using different AI tools.
The copyright implications behind something that's generative like this.
Oh, it's like, don't just use it, or don't use it is what I'm saying. Use it for fun, but don't definitely post that photo of the Justice League online because it's pulling probably from some artist's work. So yeah, that's why I said it's.
It's pulling information from a variety of sources and creating something new. Isn't that basically what anyone does?
Well, yes and no,
I
but
use fonts, I use photos, I create a layout.
right. But do you want to risk it though?
That's the question.
I wouldn't risk it at
Technically
this.
speaking, what are the copyright implications on big
Well,
scale?
there's lawsuits going on now.
Yeah.
I wonder if you put in something of your own, for example, a photo, and ask it to do it in a different style.
Yes, that's okay.
Yeah.
That is okay. But yeah, just doing something like that, yeah, you're going to run into big trouble. All right, what did I do with my clicker? Oh, well, we'll do it the old-fashioned way.
Behind your laptop.
Oh, my goodness. I'm losing it today. So anyway, one last thing I was going to share is that ChatGPT is like old school. And that kind of shows you how technology changes. So there's AutoGPT and Baby AGI, which are tools that you can use in order to get more out of ChatGPT. You don't necessarily have to go to the website. You can download your own utility from GitHub and do your own stuff. But I would caution you not to do this because the top two tools are for computer programmers to integrate ChatGPT into websites and other utilities. But Agent GPT and God Mode are free sites that you can go to and actually use ChatGPT more on a personal basis where you don't have to go to the website. You can download these utilities and use it on your own. But caution to the wise, even though this may be the up and coming technology, I'm throwing it up here, just in case it happens to slip through and replace ChatGPT, these tools are very inaccurate. So I got to throw that out there. Take a look at them, know what they are, but don't necessarily bank your business on it. So last myth or fact question is, in the movie, So in the movie Blade Runner, replicants, or basically artificial life forms, only had a 4-year lifespan. Is that a myth or is that a fact?
Fact.
For the people who saw Blade Runner. And it is a fact. And that is fact. And I will throw this out here real quick. Now, the AI in the movie Blade Runner differs than the AI that we're dealing with. Again, the replicants in Blade Runner were programmed with true artificial intelligence because the thought process is that if we gave replicants AI, any problem that they came across, they would be able to use deductive reasoning to encounter any situation that they dealt with. But the problem is that replicants started thinking about the morality of life and the fact that they only had a 4-year lifespan. And of course, they wanted to increase life. And replicants in the Blade Runner universe were delegated to just doing mundane tasks off the planet Earth. But they wanted to live longer. And those of you that may be afraid of it, we're not at that Blade Runner level yet as far as artificial intelligence is concerned. So to wrap things up, I want all of you to take a good look at AI and see if it can be a good fit in your business. I've provided all of the tools that are some of the best AI tools out there, and I would encourage you in your free time to take a look at them and see if they can help enhance your business. But when working with AI, understand that you don't want to take it for verbatim and use the content as your own because there's copyright issues with it. Also, you don't want to rely on the AI tools as it's still in beta mode. And then finally, I want you to bring up your level, your business level, and your branding, because I don't want you to be in a situation where you are being replaced by AI. I want you to get on social media. I want you to share content about AI and ChatGPT. And I want you to go forth confidently, knowing that as people, and when we deal with people, you will never be obsolete. So that's me, Burton Kelso, the tech expert, with a current photo. Some of my slides, I've got a fat photo of me. But anyway, we have any questions or comments or anything? Yes.
So when it comes right down to it, I mean, I think I know your answer, but I'm a copywriter. So should I see that I should not really consider this an existential threat to my livelihood when someone can say, look, I just, some fairly neophyte person said, look, I just typed something into ChatGPT. I know it's not 100% accurate, but it generated a blog post for me. I double checked it and I posted it. So how is that not a threat to someone like me who's a copywriter who would, part of my business is doing blog posts and some of the things they can just do it in ChatGPT?
Well, number one, the major threat is that you still have to rework that content, even though ChatGPT has generated. Number two, you have to think of the time aspect. I mean, are you really saving time by using AI to generate content? Because you're going to have to go back and rework it. So as a regular writer, I may be able to use it as a foundation for me to get to the next level, like maybe I need to conquer writer's block. But ultimately, when you look at the overall scheme of AI right now, it's not going to replace everybody because it's still inaccurate as far as some of the responses that it will generate back. And then finally, people like working with people. You know, now if you're a solopreneur, it may be easier for you to embrace like an AI tool. But if you are working through several channels of dealing with the team, it's going to be easier to work with your team than it is to try to generate and get all of that copy from ChatGPT or Bard or any of the other AI tools out there.
And also, you can't write from your experience. You'll never be able to.
Well, yeah, I mean, but then someone would say, well, that's just you giving me a business pitch. Why can't I got to find blog posts just by typing something in ChatGPT. Some guy told me that. I got to find blog posts, I typed it into ChatGPT, I know it was inaccurate, I fussed with it, and basically I had a blog post in 5 minutes and I didn't have to pay anybody anything.
Well, turn his ass in and then use Zero GPT so it can be, because I mean, if he's using the content, it's copyright. It can be a copyright issue.
It's not the original content.
It's missing actually.
Well, it is, but the problem is, I mean, I'm not dominating this, but I mean, when it's pulling from the gobs and gobs and gobs of material on the internet, there's no way you can know what strand of it was copyrighted.
Yes, you can. That's why tools like Zero GPT exist. They're designed to find the inaccuracies and where that information is coming from, not the exact source, but the fact that it was machine generated rather than human generated. And that's how people are getting into issues with it, by saying it's their own content.
But how accurate is the AI detector? That's something that's come up, is they can be very inaccurate within themselves. I know writers who've gotten dinged on saying that their content is AI generated when it's completely not. And that's the other kind of argument that's being had, is how accurate are those tools to detect that?
Oh, as far as like Zero GPT? I mean, I think they're like any other technology tool. They're not going to be 100%. But at the same time, at least you have a starting point to find out if it were AI generated. You know, it may just take a simple phone call that says, hey, you know, it looks like this content was AI generated. And then just in that conversation, you can find out if the person was lying or, you know, if they actually copied and pasted and utilized those tools. The AI tools is what I'm saying. So yes, and then yes.
Do these tools get smarter the more, like, if you're consistently using a tool for a particular topic, does it start to get smarter as it recognizes maybe your questions, how you're asking them? I mean, is there something like that happening?
So the question is do the AI tools start to get smarter the more you use it? And yes and no. Like in the instance of me having the conversation about the movie Alien with ChatGPT, the more I used it on that query, the less accurate it got. It started throwing in characters from different movies in the Alien franchise. So on some topics, I think it's able to stay on point. On other topics, it's just pulling information from the internet to try to fill in the blanks and give you the answer that you desire.
Yeah, because a writer friend had mentioned that she tried it, and the thing it spit out was very similar to what she would have written anyway.
Right, exactly. So again, it's not the word or the term AI is kind of misleading because it's not like it's just pulling from its own knowledge base. It's just scraping from different sources. And of course, the more you go with it, sometimes it can just go down the rabbit hole and start pulling out inaccurate information. So last question.
So I haven't used the ChatGPT, but so do people know they're not supposed to be just copying? Because so I was at a party and realtors were talking about that they do all these blog posts and they got to put content out all the time. And this one guy standing in the circle showing everybody how to do GPT to write it for him, and he just copies and pastes and throws it out there. And he's like, "Is this?" Because it's just a dumb little sales pitch thing. Right. But it's like, it's not nothing original or anything. So it's like just throw it out there and constantly put content out there.
So that's when you become a industry expert by saying, "No, buddy, you're going to get your ass sued from using this content from ChatGPT." So a lot of people don't know that it's copyright material that it could be potentially pulling down. And you're using it. So no, you're not supposed to just take it and then use it as your own content because it's not your content.
So who would sue?
Let's say if it used a particular sentence or paragraph and some company was using bots to scan the internet to see if their content was being used other places, then it would be whatever that company is. And you have to understand your larger companies are constantly, especially when they put out content, have programs or bots that are constantly scanning the internet for images, for sentence structure, to find out if their content has been duplicated. So it's not one particular source, it's multiple companies across the globe that are trying to protect their intellectual property. So does that make sense?
Yeah, but I mean, if he's just saying, hey, I sell houses and blah, blah, blah houses, it's kind of like, you know, it's like 3 little sentences that he puts in the content and he has GPT write it.
Right, but I understand what you're saying, but it's, again, if you created that material and then someone else is using that material, I mean, essentially it's your intellectual property. So you would want to protect that, especially if you're relying on content that's making your company millions of dollars. But the best practice is if you generate it from ChatGPT, you can use it as a springboard to write a blog, but you don't want to take it word for word and use it as your own content. Because you're basically saying, I made the content when actually AI wrote the content.
Very good.